All right, I'm live. What's up, everybody? It's Reed here from FloGrappling. Hopefully, this thing is working right now. My first time doing one of these live chats here on YouTube, but I thought what better time than now to jump in here, do some breakdown of KASAI Pro 4. If you've been living under a rock for the last week or 2 weeks, you know, then you missed out on one of the biggest events in Jiu-Jitsu. Of course, I'm talking about KASAI Pro 3. Went down in New York City. I was there the whole time, building things up. I got to go to a bunch of different gyms and everything like that. Had a fantastic time. But definitely, I wanted to do one of these live chats. And so, if you want to talk about something, let me know in the comments below. We can talk. We can break down kind of the biggest storylines or some of the biggest things that happened at KASAI Pro 4. If you have any things that you want to talk about, definitely jump in there and let me know. But I'd have to say, you know, maybe what I would say the biggest storyline coming out of the whole event. I'd have to say it's probably Johnny Grippo, right? Johnny Grippo is a guy that has been on this grind for a long time. He's been a black belt for a while now, of course, training there under Marcelo Garcia. He's been chipping away. You know, I've seen him, you know, just about at every IBJJF tournament, Europeans, Pans, Worlds. He's a guy who's kind of like a real regular in the sport of Jiu-Jitsu, of course. And he had a fantastic performance, in my opinion, at KASAI. You know, I wasn't per se picking him to win because it was so stacked of a lineup. It was such a stacked lineup. You had Tanquinho, Bruno Frazado, Gio Martinez, Paulo Miao. You know, guys who are very well seasoned, very well versed in jiu-jitsu, guys who are veterans of the sport. So I was definitely looking for some of those more veteran guys to look good. But man, Johnny, he looked so great out there, in my opinion, you know. And he's let's talk about his finals match, actually, because that's one of the ones I think that that impressed me the most. You know, Paulo Miao is a guy that he's fought multiple times, and for a while there, he wasn't able to conquer that mountain. You know, I kind of talked to him in his post-fight interview. For a while, you know, Paulo Miao had Johnny's number, and he wasn't able to conquer that mountain for a while, right? And you see, so I see this as Mozuna 27 here says that Paulo got robbed. So let's talk about that a little bit. You know, if you guys missed it, Hollis Gracie on Instagram, he put out a little explanation of Wagner versus Hanato's match. I think he said he's going to put one out on the finals match as well. But man, in my opinion, I just don't see it. I don't see that Paulo got robbed. You know, feel free to disagree with me. Feel free to let me know your opinion here in the comments. We can talk about it. But when I watched back that match, you know, I see that the refs really missed an opportunity to call stalling on Paulo. You know, the last few minutes of that match is all Johnny Grippo. All Johnny Grippo. He is hustling. He's going super hard trying to get that sweep. And in my opinion, Paulo's doing a little bit of stalling, you know, to try to keep the ahead. So in my opinion, he should have been hit with stalling at least once, at least twice. Maybe there should have been points. But in my opinion, when I look at the scramble and I look how Johnny was able to come up on top, it looks like points to me. You know, there's no doubt in my mind that I think that Johnny Grippo was the best man that day. You know, just look at his match versus Ethan Cranlinston. You know, he really routed Ethan, swept him multiple times, passed his guard at the end. I was somebody who was super high on Ethan. I had picked Ethan to go to the finals. You know, I thought that Ethan, after his performance at the ADCC trials, you know, he's been super active. So I thought that momentum was really going to carry him and do him well in this tournament. And of course, you know, I was kind of proven wrong. But Johnny Grippo had a fantastic match there. He had a fantastic match against Kim Terra, and then kind of did what he needed to do against Tanquinho to move on. But in my opinion, like I said, it was all Johnny Grippo. I thought Johnny Grippo really deserved the win. He was no doubt in my mind the strongest player in that tournament that day. You know, he looked phenomenal. And yeah, I just don't see the robbery. I really don't. When I go back and when I watch that match, I've watched it many times. I see Johnny come up on top. I see him establish position. And then I see, you know, Paulo go turtle So I think that the referees were justified in giving him 2 points. I really do. And you know, exciting match, fun match. I thought the entire place was looking for a reason to kind of blow up, get excited. You know, it was awesome that we had two New York guys. Paolo is kind of a transplant to New York, and of course Johnny's from Jersey, but now kind of trains in New York. He had a lot of fans in the crowd as well. So I thought it was awesome that we had two kind of New York guys in the finals, Paolo and Johnny. The place was cranking, and I really thought the right guy won. But let me know. Talk about it in the comments. What do you think? So let's talk about this. I see Tor. I'm trying to follow along here on your on these comments to see if I can do a good job. It's my first time doing these, but I definitely want to do more. So let me know. But I see Tor Tudal, if I'm saying that correctly. He says, "Is the KASAI format a problem? I watched the event, and I think 6 matches is too short, or 6 minutes, I think it means. I think 6 minutes is too short for high-level black belts, 0 subs in the tournament." So that's a good point. I mean, you make definitely a good point. 6 minutes, 0 submissions in this one. But, you know, I think it's maybe a little bit more to say about the featherweights, in that we don't see a lot of submissions kind of in general in the lower weight classes. You know, there's a lot of high-level guys a lot who are all jockeying for the same position and things like that. I think the level is very close to each other. You know, because I think, you know, the middleweight tournament, there was plenty of submissions. Mateus Diniz had a couple submissions. Craig Jones had a couple submissions. These are guys who submit a lot of people, and they were able to submit high-level black belts in. They were able to submit high-level black belts in 6 minutes. You know, I really think 6 minutes is plenty of time. 10 minutes sometimes, you know, and then you're just going to get matches that don't have submissions for 10 minutes instead of 6 minutes, right? I think that if there's going to be a submission, I think that it can happen in 6 minutes. And, you know, an extra 4 minutes, a lot of times I don't see, I watch a lot of jiu-jitsu. I don't see more. Yeah, exactly. I think sometimes 10 minutes just makes for a longer match of more of the same. And so, like I said, Mateus Diniz, Craig Jones, Celcinho Vinicius in the 155-pound tournament had a 6 submission on Enrico Coco. It's probably my favorite submission of 2017, that guillotine. So I really don't think 6 minutes is not enough time. You know, the Abu Dhabi Grand Slam, they operate exclusively on 6 minutes usually. 6 minutes is plenty of time. The tournament, you know, I think it's more of an indictment on the featherweight division. Guys are just, you know, leg locks I think are harder to get on the smaller guys, and you know, smaller guys are more flexible and things like that. So yeah, I don't see. I like the 6 minutes. I think it moves the tournament along. I think, you know, it keeps it fast paced. You know, by the time you're kind of getting bored with one match, the next match is already starting, in my opinion. So I like the 6 minutes matches, and I think it moves along just fine. But I see what you're saying. You know, I see what you're saying. You definitely, you know, in a tournament like this, you want to see some more submissions, right? You want to see more decisive victories. And so I think hopefully as KASAI continues to go along and continues to kind of reward the guy who's submitting people, I think we'll see more submissions. So, but yeah, thanks for the question there, Tor. I really appreciate it. So, Ami BJJ, he says, how do you think Ryan versus Diniz would have played out? Ryan was the favorite, but how would the styles match up? Great question. Man, tough day there for Gordon Ryan. Really unfortunate to see the way things played out there. You know, for a while, you know, we had heard that something was wrong, but then we had heard that it all got resolved and everything was fine, and then it was really just like a few minutes before the show had started. So, I mean, it all happened so last minute, at least from my perspective. It all happened so last minute. You know, I know that they were in contact with Gordon, you know, pretty much since the weigh-ins, And I think they thought they had everything figured out with the New York Athletic Commission. I think it was their first time dealing with the New York Athletic Commission. First time I had seen the New York Athletic Commission there. So if you missed that, you know, we got an interview with Gordon on our website. You can go and check that out. I know he was really disappointed. He wanted to fight Mateus Diniz. I really wanted to see that match too. So how do I think that match would have played out? Whew, that's a good question, and it's a really good question. It's disappointing that we didn't get to see it. And I'm really high, definitely, on Gordon Ryan. I love to watch Gordon Ryan fight as well, you know, and I think that just seeing him go to ADCC and the confidence that he had at ADCC against guys like Cyborg, against, you know, guys like, who else did he fight? Keenan, Shanji he fought. You know, these are the best guys in the world. And to see him go out there with the confidence, the same confidence that you see him on social media with, man, it just really impressed me. You know, I think it takes a lot to shake. I think it takes a lot to shake the confidence of Gordon Ryan. So you know, I was picking Gordon Ryan to win that match. But man, Mateus Diniz, I got to go check him out at Marcelo's that day before, and I think maybe a lot of people were counting him out, but they forgot to tell Mateus Diniz, because that dude was also supremely confident. He was also really looking forward to Mateus, you know, and I mean to fighting Gordon. I think he really felt like he had Gordon's kryptonite, you know. And, you know, even afterwards, we talked to him a little bit, and he was saying, hey, man, that's the match I want. I want to fight the best in the world. I want to prove that I can beat that guy, you know. So, man, it's unfortunate that we didn't get to see it, definitely. It happened so last minute. It was no fun. Kind of took some wind out of the sails, I think, a little bit. But, man, I know Gordon will be back. Gordon kept a good attitude about the entire thing, you know, and I hope that we can rebook that match, Mateus versus Gordon, because it's kind of a battle of New York, right? And these two guys both, I think, deserve the spotlight. So, anyway, and I see one guy... Yeah, I see one guy asking how the New York Athletic Commission works. You know, I'm not super familiar with it either, but I know the you know, at New York Athletic Commission they regulate a lot MMA and kickboxing and things in New York. Of course, they're a very new athletic commission, I believe, because for a long time MMA was illegal in New York. So I think they're new. You know, I think it's mainly because of the you know, what happened last time at KASAI Pro 3. I think it just garnered a lot of attention, and the New York Athletic Commission decided that they needed to kind of insert themselves to regulate this event. And basically what they did, I think, is all they did really was like do kind of like a basic checkup on the fighters beforehand, and they did draw blood from them at weigh-ins, but I believe all that they drew blood for was to kind of look for you know, bloodborne, whatever, illnesses or whatever, like HIV and things like hepatitis C or whatever like that. They were looking for viruses in the blood or whatever. So if it's you know, if somebody does have an open cut or something like that, you know, that could be dangerous. That could be a problem for the guy, for the opposite. For the opposite competitor. So I'm not super familiar with exactly what they do or exactly how they do things, but I know it was the first time KASAI had dealt with them. And, you know, after each fight, they did take each fighter back into the backstage and, you know, kind of gave them a little kind of like once over and just made sure that everybody was okay. You know, they were paying particular attention to Paulo after he got... after he was getting his toe holded from Gianni in the finals, you know, things like that. I think they were just paying special attention to, making sure that these guys were okay, making sure that they didn't, you know, hurt themselves and were able to move on to the next round, because in the 8-man, they fought multiple times in one night. And then even, I forgot, Bruno Frazado ended up getting hurt. You know, he tore his ACL, and I think that was something that the Athletic Commission kind of came in and determined him that he was out. So I'm not even sure that had anything to do with Bruno Frazado or it was his decision. I think that was completely the New York Athletic Commission. But I still see some more people saying Paulo got robbed. You missed it. Rewind it. I already talked about it. I don't see it, man. I don't see that he got robbed. I think if you talk to Paulo too, I'm not sure that he would agree. I think it was a great match, and I thought the right guy won. But any other questions that you guys have here? man, I want to talk also about Mateus Lutz, another Marcelo Garcia guy, just a brown belt. There you go, guys. Straight up is a monster. Maybe I was most impressed with him. You know, I think that all week, or I saw him around all week. I saw him, you know, at last time. Why about Gio Rosenthal? I'll get to that real quick. But back to Mateus Lutz, man. That guy is a monster. He's still a brown belt. I would love to see him get his black belt sooner rather than later, because I think he's right there. I'd love to see him mix it up with you know, all those guys, all those black belts. And a lot of people don't remember that at KASAI Pro 3, he was in the 170-pound tournament with Hanato and with Wagner and stuff like that, and he didn't lose a single match there. He took a draw with Wagner, which, I mean, you know, that's pretty impressive just in itself. But Mateus Lutz didn't lose a single match at KASAI Pro 3, you know, and that was very, very impressive to me. He didn't make it to the finals, but he did make it to the third place match where he beat Jason Rao, who impressed me quite a bit there. And then this time he takes on, you know, he's one of the guys that I was like, he was supposed to take on Dante Leon, and then he was supposed to take on PJ Barch, and then finally he took on Jeremiah Vance. So, you know, he's a guy who stayed very even keel throughout the whole thing. That said, you know, whoever it is, don't really care, just want to fight at KASAI. And man, had a sweet north-south choke, man. You never see those chokes, you really don't. I don't see. Lucas Hulk hits a really good north-south choke, and then a lot of those guys from Marcelo's, of course, Marcelo very well known for his north-south choke. I even was talking to him after we rolled a little bit at Marcelo's a couple days before, and he was telling me that he thought the north-south choke was just as high percentage as a rear naked choke. He's saying there's just if you can get that lat drop down and your hands clasped, he said there's just no defense to it. And he's kind of right, you know, like, and man, Mateus Lutz and Paul Schreiner and Marcelo have all hit that north-south choke on me, and it is so tight. It is very, very tight when those guys hit it, and like if you're in it, you just feel like you have absolutely nowhere to go. So very, very impressive performance of Mateus Lutz. What's next for him? It's a good question. It's a good question. Like I said, I'd like to see him get his black belt sooner rather than later, but who knows? Not my call. Maybe he'll go through Worlds at brown belt again. He's a purple belt world champion. Didn't win Worlds this year at brown belt. I believe lost in the quarters or the semis, if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, man. Mateus Lutz, watch out for that kid. He is a beast. He's got a lot of great things ahead of him, and really excited for KASAI to have such a really excited for him to have such a platform like KASAI. So Gordon and AJ said that he didn't hold the position long enough to get points. Who are you talking about, Echo? You're talking about Gianni? You're talking about Gianni didn't hold? Oh, everyone's saying Paolo got robbed. Gordon and AJ said he didn't hold the position long enough to get the points. Yeah, that's what you're talking about. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I go back and watch it, you know, and it looked like to me he came up on top, you know, and he was able to stabilize the position there for a few seconds, and then Paolo turned to turtle. You know, I think, yeah, if we're going to debate the time, you know, the kind of minute details, maybe you have a case. But I really think the right guy won. I really think the guy who was pushing the pace, the guy who was trying to score, you know, the guy who was the better man. I really think that he won. I think when I go back and watch that position, it looks like points to me. It really does. You know, whether you're going by IBJJF rules or just kind of common sense, I think the right guy won, and that's my opinion. You know, you might definitely have it sounds like you have a different opinion, but that's mine. I see what you guys are saying, that it was very close, just like Wagner. Just like Wagner and Hanato was very close. Could have gone either way, I think, you know, and that's just kind of the way the cookie crumble. But yeah, I'd recommend you guys to watch it again, and it looked like to me that Gianni stabilized the position and had control of the position. They got out of that 50-50 position. You know, they were stuck in that 50-50 position for the last couple minutes. They got out of it, and Johnny was able to stabilize and get the points. So I didn't think it was a robbery at all. Close match, of course. You know, I think these guys fight 10 more times. It could go 5-5. Who knows? But I had a lot of fun watching it. I thought it was great. Let's see what else you guys are talking about. Why about Gio versus Rosenthal? Now, this was an interesting one, too, to me, man. I was really impressed with Gio because Gio beat Bruno Frazado. That was great. That was a great one, man. Gio really impressed me. He'd fought Bruno Frazado multiple times before, never able to beat him. Comes into KASAI. The first match that he has is against Bruno Frazado. Actually, I was picking Bruno to do really well in the tournament as well. Of course, he got hurt in that match, but a testament, really, I think, to Gio and how good Gio is, that he was able to secure kind of, I think he had a heel hook at one point, and then at the very end he got the 1 point for a tight looking toe hold. So that was pretty sick. So I was definitely happy for Gio. I thought he proved that he's improving, that he's getting back and everything like that. Yeah, so they at the very beginning they gave both guys penalties because there was no action. So they both had just one penalty, both of them. And then if you watch later on in the match, Gio is trying to like pass, and he's got the body lock around Frank's hips, and he's kind of like trying to like pass with this body lock around his waist. And then he kind of stops trying to pass, and he kind of just holds the position. And he holds the position for a while, maybe 30-40 seconds. And then the referee gives him a second penalty. And the scorekeeper mistakenly gave that second penalty to Frank, and so they gave a point to Gio. And then the referee saw that there was a mistake. He called back the penalty on Frank and said that was a penalty for Gio. And then the point, because if you have two penalties, you get 1 point, that it goes to Frank, that Frank should have the point instead of Gio. So the scorekeeper just had it wrong, and then the ref fixed it and switched it, and it kind of came at the very end, at the very last minute. And so that's my understanding of it. It is a little confusing and kind of a weird match. I agree, but that's my understanding of it. At the very beginning, they both had one penalty. The ref mistakenly gave it to gave another penalty to Frank, or to give another penalty to Gio, gave another penalty to Frank, giving him the point. They switched it, gave it the other point. Yeah, I think he was trying to pass it at one point in time. You know, you're saying, did he hold it too long? I think go back and watch the match. I think you'll see that I think it was fair that he got hit for stalling, because at one point he was trying to pass, and then he kind of just stopped and just kind of held the body lock. And if you just hold that body lock, it's really hard for the guy on bottom to move his hips, to do anything really, because you're just locking down their hips and locking down their torso. So it's hard to create space. It's hard to shrimp out. So it really makes kind of like this stalemate position. And so I thought it was fair that Gio got hit for stalling the second time around. Clearly he didn't think so. But I agree, it's kind of a weird match, especially after Gio had beaten Bruno Frazado, and I thought impressed really well. I'm sure that's one that he definitely wants back. Cool, guys. Thanks for watching, man. I appreciate you guys following along. So let's see what Mozuna says. Mozuna says, Ash wins at ADCC trials. Would you guys have them compete at KASAI? Man, the Rotolo brothers, man, those guys looked awesome. And I think absolutely. I think those guys could definitely be on the KASAI stage. They've been in this sport for a long time. They've been training for a long time. They've been training with the Mendez brothers. They've been training with the Atos HQ. So these guys are ready. These guys are ready to go up against the best in the world. I think the Ty Rotolo versus Adam Benayoun match at ADCC trials was the best match of the entire tournament. That was a crazy match. The whole place got into the match. It was a back and forth match. Ty ended up taking out the win. But yeah, I would love to see those guys at KASAI. You know, I'm not sure that they're ready to be in the that 8-man with guys like Tanquinho and Gio and Ethan and stuff like that. But I would definitely like to see them have some super fights or something like that. I think those guys are definitely ready to jump in there with the best in the world. I would be wary considering one brother got tapped out pretty early in the trials. And then, yeah, he did get tapped out. It was very clear to me that they didn't know a lot of the heel hook game, didn't know a lot of the legs game. So they were trying to stay very, very far away from that, you know. But their jiu-jitsu, man, their jiu-jitsu is sharp. Don't make no mistake about it. And, you know, I think they're probably a little further behind on some of the leg entanglements and some of the, you know, inside Senkaku positions and stuff like that. But they have great jiu-jitsu. And they're 15 years old, so yeah, you're right. You know, maybe don't throw them in there tomorrow, but they'll get there soon enough for sure. Those guys looked great. Like I said, watch that Adam Benayoun versus Ty Rotolo match from ADCC trials. That was a sick one. But you mentioned one of you guys mentioned Ethan Kralinston there, and man, I was so surprised. Like I said, I was really picking Ethan to do super well to make it to the finals. And it just goes to show you how tough of a tournament ADCC really is. You know, it's one thing to win the trials, and man, Ethan looked so good at the trials, but there is a huge jump up in competition from trials to actual ADCC worlds. You know, Paolo has medaled there, and Tanquinho has done really well. Gio made it to the 3rd place match one year. Who am I missing? Bruno Frazat coming phone call, so I'll have to answer that later. Yeah, I was just saying that crazy levels to this. I was really surprised that Gianni kind of did what he did to Ethan, and yeah, I definitely think that Ethan learned a lot probably in the tournament, and I know he'll be back stronger than ever because he's got the invite already to Worlds, so I know he's going to be putting a lot of work in and you know, trying to phone call. Man, FloGrappling's in Brazil right now. I'm not in Brazil. I'm going to San Francisco this weekend, but Hao and Chase are in Brazil. They're in Rio. Are they in Rio? Yeah, they're in Rio for the Abu Dhabi Grand Slam in Rio. Pretty crazy tournament down there. I know Herberts is signed up. I believe Kyan Duarte is signed up as well. So FloGrappling is in Brazil, just not me. Not me. So I'll be going to San Francisco though. Keep a lookout for that. But let's see, what else are you guys talking about? But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the whole event. You know, I really love the event. I love the round robin style. I love everything about it. And I think that this was the best KASAI yet, for sure. This was a badass one. Some of the on KASAI Pro 3, there was a lot of lackluster matches, and on this one, it was a lot of fun matches. I thought Johnny versus Paolo, Hanato versus Wagner, a bunch of other matches in there. Gio versus Bruno was a sick match. Marvin Castell versus Carlos Rosado was a really cool match. I love that golden score, the kind of like first to score overtime. I think that's a great way to do it. So man, yeah, and man, if you guys didn't go to do it, or if you didn't catch it from the stream, the place was rocking. It was packed to the gills. There was at least 2,500 people in there, you know, and the people were in the rafters, and the place was going crazy. So that was a lot of fun. And it was one of the most fun jiu-jitsu events that I've ever been to, for sure, hands down. I loved going to it. Loved seeing all the matches, seeing all the high-level guys. You know, it was disappointing that we missed the Gordon versus Mateus match, but hopefully we'll see that one next time. So Canuto flees too much, always backing up. He should get called for stalling more. I don't know. I think maybe some of his matches you could say that, maybe one or two, but definitely not this Wagner one. You go back and watch the Wagner one. He's the one who shot. He's the one who pushed the action, in my opinion. He shot 3 times, I think, took Wagner down once. And, you know, it's hard to shoot on Wagner. You know, watch a lot of Wagner's matches. Yeah, he got 2 takedowns. He shot at least 3 times. And, excuse me. And, I mean, go back. You want to shoot on Wagner? Like, that's a pretty tough thing to do. He's got that Kimura trap system down. You know that as soon as you shoot for a single leg or a double leg, he's going to Kimura you. He's got a great Kimura. It's a very dangerous thing to do, to shoot on him standing up, and he's not going to pull. So it's a tough thing to do. It's a tough position to be in, you know, because he's so good at capitalizing off that. You watch his match at ADCC Trials versus AJ Agazarm. Every time AJ shot, and AJ shot like 3 or 4 times, every single time he shot, Wagner ripped his arm off. And anybody else would have tapped, but AJ has, like, I don't know, rubber joints or something like that, so he never taps, like, ever. But it's a tough position to be in when you're going directly into that guy's best move. And in order to get him down, you have to shoot, and you have to go into his best move. So you can't just telegraph a shot, you know, you have to create some movement, and that's what Canuto is good. So I disagree, man. I love to watch Canuto fight. I think he's a really, really exciting guy. He makes a lot of crazy angles, crazy things happen. He threw up a flying triangle in the match as well. So I think he's an exciting fighter, and it was unfortunate exactly how it ended, but in my opinion, I thought Renato kind of pushed the pace the whole time and did enough to win. At the very end, man, it was so close, so close. Wagner almost got the points, and but it looked like maybe a little lapse in judgment and not knowing exactly what the rules were, that you have to get, you know, both hooks in. You know, we could do it again. I'd watch it again if I'm being honest. I would definitely watch it again. But I would also like to see Renato move on, and I'd love to see the Renato versus Edwin match. What do you guys think about that one, huh? That's a crazy one. I think both those guys have a very similar style. Both guys kind of like have that give no fucks attitude, and throw up submissions, throw up flying triangles, flying arm bars. So I hope that's next for Edwin. I hope, I mean, for Renato, I hope we see that match, Edwin versus Renato, maybe at KASAI Pro 5, maybe at the upcoming Super Fight show in Dallas. I think those are great ones for sure. What is the best Brazil submission contest for you? Man, I have to say Copa Podio. Love Copa Podio. Haven't seen them in a little while. But I got to go down to Brazil a couple times and watch the Copa Podio show. Incredible show. One of the best, in my opinion. So that's my favorite for sure. All right, guys. Anything else you want to talk about KASAI-wise? Let me know in the comments below. I'll kind of try to get a couple more answers in here. But I'm going to San Francisco this weekend for Fight to Win 94, I believe it is. Yuri Simoes versus Tim Spriggs. That's going to be a super, super fun match. Really, really excited about that one. A couple other big matches on the card. You know, Alex Kander is on there, and Formiga is on there as well. So that one's going to be sweet. It's been a while since I've been to a Fight to Win event. Always looking forward to going to those. It's crazy, crazy one. Shout out for my baby Das, please, huh? I don't know what that means. But, and then the other guys, like I said, the other guys are down in Brazil. They're going down there for, no problem. Appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for contributing. And anytime, I'm going to try to do some more of these live chats. So definitely check back and see if we can get some more conversations going. We definitely always want to hear what you guys have to say as well. But I think that'll do it. I think I'm going to sign off right now. Like I said, I'll be at Fight to Win this weekend. The other guys are down in Rio for the Abu Dhabi Grand Slam. We're going to have all the live coverage. Everything you need is going to be on there. So definitely follow along on the site. All the breaking news, all the interviews, cool highlights and stuff like that. I got a few more videos that I've been working on that are set to come out this week. So definitely keep on the lookout. And otherwise, guys, thanks for talking with me. I hope you guys had fun watching KASAI Pro 4. I know I did. I can't wait for KASAI Pro 5. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.